So for our time of pastoral prayer, I want to introduce it by saying that once again, the caregiving ministries of this church rose to meet the expectations. We've had a caregiving ministry for several years here, and through that ministry we have a phone tree. And we activated the phone tree to have over 50 of our church members called to see if they're going to be all right throughout the storm and so forth. And one of the benefits of it is that we get a chance to connect with one another, to get people talking once again among them, and we get to hear about them. And after getting all the results of the calls, and some of them I made myself because I want to, but the thing is that several of our members that picked up the phone, they were in another city, right? They had gone to Orlando, they had gone somewhere else, and not on vacation or not to flee from the storm, but rather because they were having difficulties in their own life. And so one church member was in another town because the nephew had passed away, and another church member actually told me of an accident related to the storm. A neighbor who got up on a ladder to do prepping and then fell from the ladder, and then just heard just a variety of different stories of people, of what's going on. And so what it got me thinking is that we don't necessarily need a Category 3 storm to have a storm in our own lives, to have a storm in our own hearts and in our own home. Sometimes just life itself is creating all sorts of difficulties. So with that in mind, I'm going to invite you now into a time of prayer and recognize that the Spirit of the living God is with us. So let's begin with some silence, followed by prayer. Good and gracious God, Mother and Father to us all, on this day we have gathered and we are grateful for the opportunity for us to be church, for us to be a community once again, to hear your word and to be inspired by it, to get an opportunity to greet one another and to give thanks to God for having dodged this Hurricane Idalia. But as a community, oh God, we have to note that too many of our church members are having storms of their own, problems within their own family members. And some of them we have been actively praying for. And at this time, I give you thanks for the health of Debbie Davis, the daughter of Lois Davis, who had surgery just a few days ago, and she's recovering at home. We thank you, O God, for her health and how she's recovering and becoming stronger. But yet still some other parents in this community are torn apart because of a son or a daughter or a nephew or a neighbor or a grandchild who is just having a very, very difficult time. And we try, and no, Lord, you know that we try to give them our faith. We try so hard to have them learn from our faith. But every person has their own path. Every generation has their own way of understanding the Scriptures. And all we can really do is to be silently by their side and offer them support, which is what we want from you, O God. We lean on your Spirit. We lean on your love. Provide for us what we need so that we can become a foundation for others, so that we can become that rock that others lean on. Strengthen our understanding of how you work in the world, and how through difficult moments and through loving moments, and how through joyful moments and grieving moments, we find you there at all times. Open our hearts and our minds to see your presence among us. Whether we are walking on the beach, or whether we're going for a ride, or whether we're sitting quietly, or whether we're in the midst of a loud reunion, may we, from the corner of our eye, catch you there, silently close by. Help us to walk closer to you, O God. And as we stand in the edges of chaos, struggling to make everything stable, struggling to make everything right, and yet we could see that if we just slip, something is going to go wrong. May we find your Spirit. And your Spirit is there not just for order and for stability, but your Spirit is there for the change. Your Spirit is there for that which is coming beyond our sight, beyond our understanding. Just around the bend, something awaits for us that is magnificent. And we thank you for it, O God. As we stand here today in gratitude for all that we are and all that we have, may this gratitude extend for those things that we cannot give to others, that in some way or another our loved ones will also come into contact with your Spirit, and they too will come to their understanding of this love that we so deeply understand here. Remembering the words of Jesus, who taught us to pray by saying, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen."